When it comes to Genshin Impact, there's not many videos that I come across that I'm like, oh, I've never seen this before, and it looks interesting. But today I stumbled upon a video called The Toxic World of Genshin Impact by Visual Venture, and I'm honestly just curious that I've never ever seen this video before, so we're going to take a look and see what it's all about. Oh god.
Because at the end of the day, I think my biggest problem with this game comes down to purpose. And that is there is no purpose to Genshin Impact.
Damn. Okay, we're starting off strong, I guess.
Cut deal of 20,000 Singaporean dollars. Thanks to his daughter spending it all on Genshin Impact.
I did hear about
I've
this.
gone so far as get an email about someone pretending
MTash.
that
Bro, I haven't seen MTash in such a long time now. Oh my, is he still making content? I think he just had a kid.
they have cancer, or even one of their children has cancer. Someone
Jesus,
said, my
dude.
child has cancer. Their only wish is to get gone.
Yeah. Listen, I have been through this myself, dude. I've had countless DMs from people literally just asking for free Primo gems, literally giving me the weirdest sub stories ever that are clearly false. Bro, I once had a person telling me that they were currently like in the back of a train, escaping home because their family was abusing them, and the only thing that they want that would make them happy was free Primo gems. Sometimes people are outright disgusting, bro.
It's just someone faking it, trying to get a character.
Yeah,
Sum
it's
it up,
insane.
Genshin is an amazing game that I can't recommend to anyone.
Oh,
Exploring
damn.
a vast world for the first time is a magical experience for a lot of gamers. But for
Yep.
these open world games, it's not just the size of their maps that's huge. It's the cost to make them. While making
Absolutely.
their own open world role-playing game, the game comes
and the communities, bro. Hey, the positive and negative that comes with creating such a viral game like Genshin is the community, right? Because the community is full of fantastic people, but there is always going to be those people that just make it look like the worst thing on earth.
company called Hoyoverse made a huge gamble. They spent over $100 million to develop Genshin Impact, only to make it free to play.
It's crazy as well that that number now kind of looks like child's money compared to what they're using to develop the game right now, right? $100 million is such a large amount of money. But if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure the game surpassed like $1 billion now. It's just crazy numbers.
Genshin Impact is among the most expensive video games to be developed of all time. So if it failed, it might be the end of Hoyoverse. What made this
Absolutely.
gamble even riskier?
Probably not at this point anymore. This video was about a year ago. They have other games now that are doing very, very well, so I really don't think Genshin failing will be the end of Hoyoverse specifically.
Was that before this, Hoyoverse only ever made mobile games, but Genshin Impact was being made for mobile and major gaming platforms.
Yep.
But the gamble paid
Like
off.
Nintendo Switch.
In just 2 years since its launch, Genshin Impact made $4 billion. Its achievement was unlike anything the gaming world has seen
Such a
before.
crazy
Getting to
amount
this
of money,
level of
dude.
success wasn't always a smooth road. Before we start, I hope you guys have an absolutely beautiful day. So
Thank
today we'll be looking at the insane world of Genshin Impact and the craziness of its community.
Okay,
The dangers
oh
of
god.
Genshin in real life.
I am very intrigued about this video. 27 minutes of pure Genshin community content. I'm concerned.
On September 28th, 2020, Genshin Impact was released, quickly rising to the top of every known ranking, downloads, revenue, awards. But in
Yep.
order to stay at the top, the game had to keep things fresh. Hoyoverse wasn't just looking to make a splash in
Very
the gaming
nice
scene,
editing.
but beyond it as well. So on March 8th, 2021, Genshin Impact teamed up with KFC in China for
Oh
the
god, we're starting here, dude. Oh, this is a throwback. Okay.
game's first ever collaboration. Genshin
Yeah.
Impact characters dressed up for the occasion, promoting KFC combo meals that came with in-game rewards. During this time, players who bought a special KFC combo meal could redeem an
wings,
in-game
bro.
item called the Wings of Feasting.
The
There was no
wings.
other way of getting this item, so Chinese players went to their local KFC outlets in droves. The event was so successful that it became dangerous, with players overcrowding the KFC
Bro, this feels like it was so long ago, but it really wasn't. It's like, what, 4 years? Ah, I remember. This is pretty much when I first started playing Genshin, bro. I remember covering this information even back then.
stores and a threat to public safety. Police needed to get involved and shut down KFC establishments. Many camped outside of KFC stores just to be in the front of the line.
Yeah.
In the end, getting the police involved was the right choice because the stores were so crowded.
Look at this. Oh my, it just goes to show just how popular Genshin was when it first released, bro. I mean, it's still very, very popular now, but this is on another level. This is on another level.
People started to commit crimes like stealing character display stands from the store.
Amidst all the chaos, people started stealing Noel cutout. People that were successful in the Noel cutout heist started selling them online.
Just a few months into Genshin
$7,000 for a Noel cutout, bro.
Impact's release, it became so popular that crowds at real-world events
anybody
could
ever
not be
buy those?
controlled. So on August 29th,
sure.
2022, when Genshin Impact had a new collaboration with Pizza Hut in China, players should have already learned their lesson, right?
But did
Is
they?
that true that cops actually shutting down Genshin Impact collaboration event with Pizza Hut? That was the case.
Once again,
Wait, I don't think I remember this one. Wait, it happened again?
history repeated itself. Genshin Impact
way.
players crowded around the Pizza Hut stores, becoming a danger to themselves and the people around them. Police had to shut down some of the Pizza Hut joints for the same reason as last time: public safety. Even in Genshin Impact events out.
Did the restaurant chains have like security measures set up and like correct protocols? Because they must have known it was going to be incredibly busy, like especially with the KFC one happening a year before, right? Did they have like lineup spots, and if it gets too crowded to send people away? Maybe there was just too many people to even enforce the rules, bro. I don't know.
Outside of China, there was always new players causing problems.
Yeah.
There was a girl in the Philippines who stole a cardboard cutout of Klee in the Hoyo Fest Cafe collab last December.
I'm laughing. It's okay. It is kind of funny. It is kind of funny, but it is also a serious thing, obviously.
She openly admitted to stealing it.
But stealing is nothing
Jesus.
compared to some of the horrible things some event attendees have done. 200 people had to evacuate a Genshin Impact event in Seoul, Korea.
Bro, I remember this, the bomb threat.
Someone tweeted that they would set off a homemade explosive there. The actions of these Genshin Impact players don't reflect the entire community as a whole, but this is what happens occasionally when a lot of players gather together in real life.
It is. It's also like one of those things where obviously it's not all of the Genshin community. It's not even a big part of the Genshin community for this kind of stuff, but this stuff is incredibly serious.
From these in-person events, we couldn't find any reports of people ending up with lasting consequences. But that's only the beginning of what crazy Genshin Impact fans are capable of, because as you continue watching this video, some of these stories will make you question just how far they can really go.
Yeah?
The corrupt sponsorships. When Genshin Impact teamed up with KFC China for collaboration, players in countries outside of China felt left out. So Hoyoverse came up with a plan. On November 25th, 2021, players from the global region
Is this the Amazon Prime thing? Wait, why was this corrupt?
finally had the chance to get the Wings of Feasting.
I don't remember this entire situation. I do remember. Okay, so maybe it is to do with this actually. So I just started playing Genshin at this point. I was a couple of months into it, and I actually got offered to take part in this Wings of Feasting thing. It was basically, if I remember correctly, and I'm sure he's going to go over it here, if I were to accept, if somebody gifted me, I think 2 Twitch subs while in the Genshin Impact category, they would get the Wings of Feasting. And usually things like this are perfectly fine. They're a-okay. They're not bad at all. However, I think a lot of people had a problem with this one, specifically because the wings were available for China beforehand and for a lower price or something. So I turned it down because, listen, I just started the game. I didn't really want to be a part of any controversy, and I didn't understand the situation fully because I just didn't really bother to look into it.
Item from the KFC China collab. By teaming up with Genshin Impact Twitch streamers from around the world, Hoyoverse gave out the Wings of Feasting through their new web event called the Adventurers Guild on Twitch. Their plan was
it was a web event?
To get the player base to support Twitch streamers. On paper, this was a great move for the community, because players who bought paid subscriptions to selected Twitch streamers could get the Wings of Feasting, while streamers could get more subs.
There it is.
Win-win. But once again, it was too good to be true. While almost everyone loves eating KFC, not everyone loves Twitch streamers. A lot of players were upset that they had to
I mean, not everybody likes eating KFC, to be fair.
spend money to subscribe to streamers that they'll never watch. But the real problem was what the streamers had to face. Twitch streamer Tectone exposed the contract offered by Hoyoverse for them to be an eligible streamer for this event.
Wait, I don't even think I read this.
It's a 2-week exclusivity contract, which means you can only stream Genshin Impact for 2 weeks, no other games. And here's the thing for payment: $0.
Wait, was this real? The thing with the wings was an exclusivity thing? Really? Bro, what? I mean, obviously, That's insane. Like I say, I just started at this point, so I was not looking into these details, but that's kind of crazy, bro.
On top of not being paid, Twitch streamers were not allowed to accept other sponsorships or talk negatively about Genshin Impact. Other creators also spoke up against Hoyoverse's contract, resurfacing the community's anger toward the company. But
I'm glad I didn't take it now, but that's interesting.
amidst the backlash Hoyoverse was facing, innocent content creators were caught in the crossfire. Genshin Impact players flooded Twitter to attack any content creators who accepted the contract, threatening
I did see this happening. This was one of the big deterrents of me just not wanting to even check it out.
to unsubscribe from them.
There's a lot of people in the Genshin community, smaller Genshin content creators, who reached out to me via Discord, Twitter DM, and they said that they are very anxious about this.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you're anxious about it, just don't sign up for it, right? That's what I did.
And that they're terrified that they accepted the program, right? And they're terrified about what's to come because of how Genshin community retaliated towards this.
In the end,
I'm sure you could back out of it, right? If you signed it and then realized that it's not what you thought it was, could you not just back out of it? I don't know. Obviously, there's probably clauses.
the Adventurers Guild on Twitch event divided the community instead of bringing them together.
Yep.
Hoyoverse never responded to the backlash from this event, while streamers suffered the wrath of angry Genshin Impact players. Sadly,
I mean, it is also like, am I crazy here? I feel like, yes, obviously Hoyo could respond. Communication is always good, but I do feel like it's also kind of on the streamers if you're taking an exclusivity contract. At least, like, I don't know if people were like fully aware of this this deal before they signed it. That's the big problem. But if they were, and they were just accepting an exclusivity contract which was open to the public that everybody could read, and it said you can't talk bad about Genshin, then obviously people are going to have a negative outlook on that. It's like, for me, bro, I would never sign something that meant that I couldn't criticize the game or talk bad about it if they do something bad, you know? Like, I've taken my fair share of Genshin sponsorships and stuff in the past, but it's like, for exclusivity as well, I would also just never do exclusivity. I never want to lock myself into one, I never want to put myself in a box that I can't get out of, you know? I think like a percentage base of, like, make this amount of videos is fine, but making it so that, like, you cannot play our competitors' games or something is just a death sentence, dude.
this isn't the only time that innocent creators had to pay the price for Hoyoverse's actions.
Oh?
The consequences of being a voice actor. So far, Hoyoverse's ambitious ideas led to real
Oh, this is going to be the previous voice actor stuff where voice actors were literally just getting death threats, like I think Kokomi's VA, right, back in Inazuma.
world mayhem. But unlike the frenzy of Genshin fans at KFC, there's another service that delivers harmony with every meal. CookUnity. CookUnity is the first chef-to-you meal delivery.
Oh, it's a sponsor.
This is Anjali. Anjali got into voice acting in their teens. Like a lot of voice actors, Anjali's career started out with minor roles in different films
Damn, Berserk, bro?
and games. In 2021, Anjali auditioned for Genshin Impact and became the voice of a few NPCs in the game. But as Genshin Impact grew with more updates, so too did Anjali's career. Anjali kept auditioning for more roles in the game and eventually landed the opportunity to voice Dory, a character for Genshin.
Oh, God. Okay, Dory's VA. Well, okay. I don't know about this, and I don't think... I thought it was going to be Kokomi's. Bro, just on a side note here, a little tangent. Dory's Japanese VA is one of the most goated VAs I have ever heard, bro. That VA embodies the character down to a core fundamental understanding. It is insane.
Genshin Impact's Sumeru expansion. What originally felt like a dream come true, Anjali soon discovered that it would turn into a nightmare. What was supposed to be a new character's exciting announcement ended up to be a mob of upset players over the casting of Dory. The new map
Over the casting of Dory? I know people had a problem with Dory for, like, the design and stuff, but the casting?
drew strong inspiration from South Asian and Middle Eastern cultures, leading some players to accuse Hoyoverse of engaging in cultural appropriation. Anjali faced criticism merely for providing the voice of one of the characters. After announcing that they were the voice of Dory, Anjali received inappropriate messages from angry players.
Wait,
At first,
for what? For not being a part of that culture.
Actually ignored these messages by blocking them, but as the hate grew, they had to turn off DMs. Anjali's story is just one of the many incidents where the Genshin Impact community directed their hate towards the voice actors.
Not Google Classrooms,
Zach
dude.
Aguilar, the voice of Ether in Genshin Impact, called out players over the repeated harassment the voice actors got on Twitter after he hosted an official Genshin Impact live stream.
God, since this video, bro, again, this video was like a year ago, the voice acting hemisphere has changed a lot.
Poor treatment Genshin Impact voice actors get from the community isn't exclusive to the English dub. Gui Niang, who voiced Kokomi in the Chinese dub of Genshin Impact, had to restrict her live stream because players were unhappy about the character she voiced.
I didn't realize it was a CNVA for Kokomi.
Some losers, some actual degenerates, went out of their way to harass the voice actress, the Chinese voice actress for the character.
That's just not okay.
And end up having her like shut down harassment on her live stream.
Even though all the complaints come from a vocal minority, it paints a bad picture for the entire Genshin Impact community.
It does. I mean, 90% of the problems in the Genshin community have come from the vocal minority, but you ask people what they think of the Genshin community, they will tell you that it is one of the most toxic communities on the planet. I've heard it literally get like compared to My Hero Academia, and apparently that community is really, really bad. I don't know. I haven't seen the anime. I've never partaked in MHA stuff, but it's just sad, dude. It's just sad.
It ruins the experience for not
I actually
only
want to watch
people who
MHA.
are toxic, but also voice actors themselves. They'll see what's been happening to voice actors throughout the years, and they won't want to voice act in Genshin Impact simply because they don't want to get attacked and harassed by a community when they've done nothing wrong.
Yeah, there's new reasons that why people might not want to voice in Genshin anymore, but true.
In the end, Genshin Impact players attacking voice actors is just a symptom of a major problem brewing between the community and HoYoverse, the company behind the game. In our next chapter, you'll find out just how far HoYoverse goes to control the content in the game. The bubble diaper situation.
The bubble diapers. Oh my god, the bubble diaper. Fontaine swimming. That was... Bro, the bubble diaper was literally one of the most popular shorts on my channel. It's basically a form of censorship so that you can't, like, look up characters' clothing and stuff, which is a... People love it and people hate it. I just think it's fucking hilarious. A water diaper.
August 16th, 2023, Genshin Impact Update 4.0 added the new region of Fontaine to the game. While the community welcomed the new content with open arms, there was one feature that players found to be very annoying. When you swim underwater in the game, it causes a bubble effect to appear around their character's hips.
Bro, is it really that annoying, though? Let's keep it a buck. I really don't think it's that annoying.
The effect was noticeable and started to grab the attention of the Genshin Impact community. This effect was known as the bubble diaper. Many claim that its intention was to cover up the rear end of characters, and a lot of players found this to be distracting.
And this ain't just on the
distracting, sure, but I just don't think it's that big of a deal.
Female characters. No, this is on the male characters too. Fully dressed.
Yeah, no discrimination, baby.
You know, not showing anything male characters.
Unlike Western games, Genshin Impact has greater restrictions as a Chinese video game. While HoYoverse has to follow the rules set by the Chinese Communist Party, their attempt to cover up in Genshin Impact appears to be a lot worse compared to other Chinese video games. With China's video game regulations growing stricter in recent years, players...
The thing is, dude, it's like for other Genshin things that aren't like underwater, the censorship, it's basically like if you're in the open world and gliding, if you just try to look like at the underside of a character, the character will literally just disappear. If the character's underwater, facing away from you 100% of the time, pretty much, you can't just look at nothing.
Outside of China are worried that they'd also get hit with more rounds of cover-up similar to the bubble diaper incident. But it isn't just graphics. Players realized that their words were being censored too.
Genshin censorship in the text in game is absolute dog water, by the way. You can, what is it? You can literally not type C4, even though a shortened version for constellations of characters is C. So like you can't say I got C4 of this character, but you can type bomb. So what like
it censors tank. I wonder why. Tank? It actually does!
The censorship wasn't just limited to words like Taiwan and Hong Kong. Even words that are important for in-game communication, like enemies, can't be seen. This list only appears to be growing. A study conducted on 200 different Chinese mobile games revealed over 180,000 blacklisted keywords.
Don't get me wrong, some keywords are definitely right to be blacklisted, of course, but some of them just make no sense.
However, what truly aggravates the community goes beyond the in-game censorship. censorship. It's the persistent feeling that their concerns are constantly overlooked. Genshin
That's
Impact's
true.
Discord is notorious for silencing players, making it difficult for them to voice their opinions when it comes to problems about the game. Because
really?
Hoyoverse hardly addresses the community's complaints, players often use this lack of communication to justify their actions, such as bullying innocent parties, as we've seen with voice actors.
Yep.
But some problems would be bad for Hoyoverse to ignore, because there was one incident that left hundreds of players with a permanently damaged game.
Oh, is this going to be the Cave incident?
The hack that destroyed the game. Even though Genshin Impact is mainly a single-player experience, it does have co-op features. Players have the option to enter their friend's world, where they can assist with various tasks like tackling.
This whole situation is way deeper than it looks on the surface, by the way. Like, the people behind this, or at least some of them, have been arrested now. And I don't think it did affect people on as big a scale as they made it out to. It was more private server stuff. But Hoyo came out and literally handled fucking business about this, because, and I don't think they would have done that necessarily if it wasn't affecting general players as well, but maybe they would. I honestly don't know. This video was a year ago, so there's probably new information even since this, but let's see what he says.
In-game quests and challenges for some engaging gameplay. It's all about shared fun until August 2023. In what turned into a bleak chapter of Genshin Impact's story, teaming up in co-op mode suddenly became the one thing that you really didn't want to do if you cared about your account. During this period, Chinese players panicked. They realized that in-game objects like treasure chests were permanently missing. Some of these in-game objects,
not just treasure chests, things like Catherine as well, so you couldn't even start certain quests,
were important for story progression, and without them, they couldn't explore the rest of the game. The cause of these disappearing objects could be tied to one playable character, Kave. Some players used a third-party software to hack Kave, giving him an ability to permanently delete almost anything from the game, even NPCs, which erupted chaos between players.
Even Tartaglia, even weekly bosses.
Chinese and English-speaking players alike took to online platforms, warning everyone not to enable the co-op feature. Once a Kave hacker deletes your game files, it's gone for good. Not even reinstalling Genshin Impact would bring it back.
So on the Chinese servers, videos have been going around showing Kave deleting stuff like chests, statues, NPCs, etc. While it looks hilarious, repairing or reinstalling your game doesn't fix it.
But even with
I had to go through Hoyo, right?
Video clips circulating online, some Genshin Impact players thought that the Kave hack was fake. One player even recorded footage of them deleting objects with Nahida, a different character, only to admit later that it was fake. With so much conflicting information
this is where things got very confusing, and still are, to be honest.
Spreading around, nobody knew for sure if the Kave hack was real or fake, except Hoyoverse. On August 28th, 2023, Genshin Impact's official Reddit account made a post revealing that the Kave hack was indeed real. And just a week after videos of the hack circulated online, Hoyoverse quickly fixed the hack. Thankfully, players who were affected by the hack had their accounts restored to normal.
That's me!
Hoyoverse also banned the hackers.
Holy, that was like my first gaming session, I think, for Genshin.
And are pursuing legal action against them. While we aren't sure what happened to the hackers, it's likely that they'll be punished pretty severely. Lawsuits aren't
they got arrested.
To be taken lightly, especially.
I'm pretty sure the reason they got arrested was for actually distributing the hacks and teaching other people to use them, not necessarily just using them themselves, but they did get arrested.
With Hoyoverse, because in this next situation, getting sued by Hoyoverse is comparable to being caught as an enemy spy.
Oh shit, is this for leaks?
$70,000 fine.
There's gotta be leaks,
We already
right?
learned in the previous chapter that Genshin Impact is mainly a single-player experience with limited co-op features. But some players in the community take it far more seriously than multiplayer games. Major updates usually add new characters, so players want to know if it's worth spending premium in-game currency to unlock
leak
them.
epidemic,
That's why a large
baby.
portion of the community would do everything they can to find out what's happening in the next update. One of these people is Xing Hair, a Chinese Genshin Impact player. In January 2022, he got access to the Genshin Impact version 2.5 private beta test.
Oh, okay.
After signing an NDA, Xing Hair was able to experience all the new features ahead of regular players. Wanting to share his new discovery,
Bro, what was even in 2.5? Was it anything super interesting? Was it like riding that 2 or something?
Xing recorded his gameplay and shared it to his friend, but that was a terrible decision that cost him everything. His
100%.
friend shared the gameplay online, breaching the NDA that Xing signed. Hoyoverse tracked down the source of the footage right back to Xing Hair and sued him for $500,000. 100,000 Chinese yuan, or about 70,000 US dollars. That's the fine you'd expect for someone caught spying in China. In a post he made online, Xing revealed how betrayed he felt because of his friend. About the leak, I've always been very careful.
I mean, you can feel betrayed because of your friend, but at the end of the day, that's not a friend, and you also betrayed the NDA that you signed, right? Like, it's just, you just stick to the fucking contracts that you sign, bro.
That friend I've known for years, I trusted him and told him not to spread it to outside sources.
That shit sucks.
But I didn't think that I would get backstabbed today. Xing also revealed that he doesn't have the means to pay the fine worth $70,000. While we aren't sure what happened to him after he made this post, we're sure of one thing. Hoyoverse takes data breaches very seriously.
Sometimes, and then a lot of the time it just goes unfucking noticed because the amount of leaks on the internet is absolutely fucking abysmal.
Back in 2021, Hoyoverse made it clear that they weren't messing around, going after 7 players with lawsuits each at around 70,000 US dollars for leaking unreleased content of the game. And just when the leaks wouldn't stop coming, in October 2022, Hoyoverse suffered a massive data breach. Not only were 36 weeks of upcoming content exposed to the public, but employee information was leaked too, which led many people wondering maybe it didn't take too much effort to actually breach Hoyoverse's security. A 4chan user in June 2023 leaked so much Genshin Impact artwork that the user even insulted Hoyoverse for their incompetence. You are a
Oh wait, I do remember this. This was that big leak epidemic where like pretty much every fucking playable character model got leaked, wasn't it?
Company. You could tighten your security. You do not, however. Your company is so open to how easy it is to breach, so it's just a matter of time before somebody creates their own art book. You should try and get a profit at least. It turns out Hoyoverse's cybersecurity has been a problem since the very beginning of Genshin Impact. Security options like two-factor authentication weren't available for mobile devices, and on October 19th, 2020, not even 2 months into the game's release, hackers were able to steal player phone numbers through the Hoyoverse website. This issue was only...
Well, wasn't there also a case that where streamers as well, when logging into the game, the launcher would just show their phone numbers and stuff, which is obviously really fucking dangerous.
Fixed on November 9th, 2020. But it took them almost an entire year to finally add two-factor authentication in May 2021. Hoyoverse may be taking harsh action against those who leak confidential information, but it's nothing compared to what China would do to Genshin Impact creators who go against them. Because sometimes just making the wrong kind of Genshin Impact videos could land you in prison. 10 years in prison over Genshin Impact.
10 years?
On January 18th, 2022, Italian physicist Giorgio Parisi was on the verge of a major milestone in his life. He was
and then he started playing Genshin Impact? What is this?
About to receive his Nobel Prize from the Italian Senate over a Zoom meeting. But unfortunately, his achievement would never be remembered as an honorable moment, but instead, probably one of the most embarrassing moments in Zoom call history. Somebody managed to hijack the call and played an inappropriate video of Final Fantasy VII's Tifa Lockhart. This moment became a
What is going on?
Legendary internet meme overnight. But
I have never heard of this.
What a lot of people don't remember is that seconds before the Zoom hijacker was removed, he played a clip of Zhang Ling from Genshin Impact as well. While Zhang Ling didn't share the same meme status that Tifa did, this might have been for the best.
Zhang Ling's probably more memed now than Tifa Lockhart.
Because the animator for the Zhang Ling Not Safe for Work video was about to get into serious trouble. Shirakami, the animator, has a Twitter following of over 560,000 and rose to online fame with his inappropriate Genshin Impact animations. However, he mysteriously went silent and vanished from the internet on December 12th, 2022. It wasn't until 6 months later that his fans would uncover the story behind his sudden disappearance. In July 2023, Shirakami was arrested in China for violating censorship laws. He could potentially face up to 10 years in prison for distributing and profiting off.
This is the thing with a lot of these situations, right? They're not like arresting artists for making NSFW art, even if it is fucking gross of like underage characters and shit. They're not going after people that are using hacks as in jail time. They're going after people that are profiting and distributing this shit, which makes sense, I guess, at a legal standpoint.
Off of inappropriate material. His Patreon raked in over 1,830,000 Chinese yuan.
Okay, I thought it was dollars. Still,
about $250,000 US.
$250,000 is a lot of money, bro. Hey, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Maybe we could hit $250,000 US in 10 years. Jesus.
Chinese authorities deemed as unlawful. Shirakami's arrest struck fear in the community of Chinese NSFW creators. Some of them even deleted their accounts, afraid that they would end up the same way. Shirakami's story serves as a reminder that working on the wrong kind of Genshin Impact content could get you in trouble. But even...
Well, it's also if you're based in China and obviously under the legal jurisdictions, right?
If you're innocent, just working for Genshin Impact can be a problem.
Yep.
For one unlucky Hoyoverse staff member, her first day on the job was thrown into chaos thanks to the Genshin Impact community.
Oh god, why now?
The worst job ever. We've already revealed earlier in this video that Hoyoverse is infamous for not responding to their player base. But what if you had the power to change that? Janice rose to the opportunity to do just that. After 5 years of working at Bandai Namco Entertainment Asia as their social media and PR manager, Janice made a major career move. On September 28, 2021, she joined Hoyoverse as their new global PR manager. But on the first day of her job, Janice had to deal with gaming's worst PR disaster of all time. Genshin Impact's first anniversary.
Oh Jesus! I know about the first anniversary. I don't know about the PR, like this stuff.
Event. For the Genshin Impact community, the anniversary event was the final straw that broke the camel's back. Throughout the year, Hoyoverse responded with silence whenever the community aired their frustrations toward earlier.
What a shit time to get this job, bro.
Updates. So when the anniversary event was revealed and it offered players little to no changes, they were more upset than ever.
Whenever the servers go down for maintenance, players are given an average of 300 Primo Gems as a form of compensation. You are getting more Primo Gems here compared to the rewards of the game's 1-year anniversary.
The anniversary offered 100 Primo Gems, the game's premium currency, if they took part in the social media event. Clearly, this wasn't even...
Bro, I think for anniversary stuff specifically, I think chance to win, like paid currency events, are absolutely fucking dogshit and abysmal, and they should not be a thing. I think for an anniversary where you are literally saying, like, we're giving back to the players for playing the game for X amount of years, the reward should be consistent throughout all of the players. Otherwise, what the fuck are you doing?
Given freely in-game, and it's not what the community wanted. Once again, Hoyoverse ignored the player base's disappointment toward the anniversary. But this time, the players fought back. Janice suddenly found herself dealing with the biggest protest in Genshin history. From 4.6
This was the Google Play,
stars,
the Google Play stuff. 2.2 million reviews, 1 star is insane. And then also the Google Classroom stuff,
on
right?
the Google Play Store to 1.9 stars. Genshin Impact was getting review bombed.
I mean, good grief, look at all the negative reviews they've had over this anniversary event. And that's the crazy thing about it. It's so absurd.
But it didn't stop there. Not only were players giving 1-star reviews to Hoyoverse's other games, but even random apps like Google Classroom were left.
I still think giving 1-star reviews to random shit that is not to do with Hoyoverse is brain dead as fuck, by the way. I really do not understand it. And I know it's probably a way to just paint Genshin in a bad light to like other places, but you're actually negatively affecting other companies and other games and shit that have nothing to do with this and that might actually be doing good. It is so fucking stupid.
With angry reviews putting the blame on Genshin Impact. On platforms like Discord, mods were dealing with criticism of the anniversary event, which made the community push even further by spamming the Discord server, flooding every chat.
Was it the reason they started using Chi Fallen because they couldn't really like delete it because it was their own emote or something?
Channel with stickers. Janice wasn't just forced to clean up the mess from this anniversary event. It was the aftermath of Hoyoverse's lack of communication throughout the year. As one Redditor puts it, it's not the lack of rewards, it's the silence. Genshin Impact's community really...
Well, it is also the lack of rewards. Let's keep a buck and not downplay it. Obviously, the reason people were upset was because of the lack of rewards. The following lack of voice and abundance of silence is why people are even more frustrated.
Crossed the line when Janice, on the first day of her job, became a target for the players as well. Comments on the article congratulating Janice for joining Hoyoverse had to be locked due to all the negative comments. Even the article itself was removed. In the end, the backlash was too much for Hoyoverse to handle. The company gave in and broke the silence, promising more rewards for the players. But at this point, it was too late. The community felt like these new new rewards weren't given out for the anniversary, but were given out for damage control.
Of course.
Because of her experience.
But I mean, that's exactly what it was.
At Hoyoverse, Janice left the company. For many, working at a big game studio like Hoyoverse can be seen as a badge of honor. But for Janice, it doesn't seem like she associates herself with the company, having removed any mention of it from her LinkedIn profile. Even
oh, damn. I wonder if that's her own doing or like the company's doing.
after leaving Hoyoverse, the awful things that Janice had to deal with as their PR manager seemed to have caused her to take a break from the gaming industry. But the horrible messages she received from the community are nothing compared to the cruel acts capable of some Genshin Impact players.
Oh,
because
God.
a few of them would even take lives just for this game. A diehard fan's dreadful behavior.
This has to be the Honkai Impact 3rd stuff, right? But not Genshin Impact, unless it's the Scara cat stuff. But I don't even. Apparently that shit was fake, dude. I don't know. People told me it was fake, but everything that I saw at the time did not look fake.
In our last chapter, you saw what happened when a company was completely out of touch with its players. This time, we're exploring a different angle. When players lose their grip on reality. On July 28th, 2023, a Reddit user named Snoo2612 made a controversial post on the Genshin Impact subreddit. The post talked about the toxic side of the Chinese Genshin Impact community, especially toward...
Oh, God, I'm going to give a trigger warning here because this shit is fucking disgusting. Even if it's not true, it's disgusting to listen to and see, bro. So, trigger warning for animal abuse.
One playable character, Wanderer. The user explained how these fans went beyond the game, targeting not just fans of Wanderer, but also the character's voice actor, Lu Yin, during a live event. But it didn't stop there. Wanderer haters even went as far as doxing the writers behind...
Unless I'm totally wrong here, and this is not to do with that, which definitely could be the case. There's a lot of drama revolving Scara, apparently.
The character. They reported Wanderer to the authorities for being a depiction of a war criminal. Unfortunately for them, both of these attempts ended up failing. When that didn't work, they crossed a serious line on a messaging app called Telegram, where one person shared...
But what even is Telegram? I'm so confused by this fucking app. Is it literally just like a encrypted messaging service? Is that why people use it for like scams and shit?
Very upsetting videos involving cats. So I can't go into full detail on YouTube, but since they were associated with Wanderer's in-game cat form, what I can say is that the cats sadly didn't survive. This was a harsh reminder of how intense fandoms can negatively spill over into reality.
Death penalty if true.
According to the Reddit user, the motivation behind these awful acts is simply because they don't like the Wanderer character.
Yeah, chronically online motherfuckers, bro. They need to literally get a grip on their own life. This is mentally damaged people.
Any Chinese male players see him as a real enemy and not a fictional enemy. They are offended by his attitude. His talking pisses them off. The CN players...
You know what that is? The sign of a good written character. You take it that deep and start hurting animals in real life, you are a fucked up individual human being that does not deserve the respect of anybody.
Are used to being flattered in a game world, so they can't tolerate a brat.
For them, doing everything they can to ruin real lives over Wanderer is apparently sending a message to Hoyoverse. When Snoo2612 made this post on Reddit, it was met with skepticism. Some Reddit users thought that there was no way that bad apples in the Chinese Genshin Impact community could be this toxic, but they were quickly proven wrong. Another Reddit user discovered that Snoo2612 was doxxed on Chinese forums after exposing the Wanderer controversy. Wanderer haters were calling Snoo a traitor to China and claimed that they found the
Bro, they're traitors to humankind, you disgusting fox.
Reddit user's real name. Snoo ended up making an update to their original post. In the update, Snoo apologized to Wanderer fans for making the Reddit post. Additionally, they asked those engaging in doxing to refrain from targeting the woman in Snoo's Twitter profile, clarifying that it was not a photo of themselves. It's hard to believe.
An AI-generated photo? Or does it matter if you're insulting them then if it's a random AI person that's not even real?
Why some people would commit such disgusting acts over a fictional character. It may be just a small minority of the player base, but hopefully this is the darkest the Genshin Impact community gets. Video games are meant to be fun. There might be some things.
Well, to be fair,
that
since then, I don't really recall any insane dramas in the Genshin community like that. To be honest, maybe I'm wrong. Obviously, the voice actor stuff, but in terms of like doxing, death threats, and actual animal abuse, I don't think we've had anything like that for a long time.
But there's never any justification to hurt others.
No, there's
Our voices matter.
There is
but we
not.
have to communicate them in the same way we'd want others to listen to us.
Exactly.
Because two wrongs don't make a right. Visual Venture.
God damn, bro. Good
Wait,
video,
before
man.
you go...
Good video, man. Good video. Yeah, hopefully there's no more insane fucking dramas like that in the near future or ever again, to be honest. We could all do without that kind of shit. But great video by Visual Venture here, bro. Check it out in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe!